Hi there, Kimberly Zimmerman, and I'm here to guide you through a flow class today where our peak posture is going to be flying pigeon. There'll be a ton of hip opening throughout our class. If you'd like to follow along with music, check the description below. For our class today, I recommend having a block and a blanket, and we're going to get started in child's pose. In child's pose, toes are touching, knees are going to be spread wide. You're going to sit your hips back to your heels, and we're going to reach our hands really far forward. Forehead lands on the mat. We'll begin to draw our attention inward for about a minute or so to drop into our practice. Start to elongate your breath. Breathe down into your belly, the sides of your ribs, the tops of your lungs. Hip openers tend to be a place where a lot of us store tension in our bodies. If you've ever taken a class from me, I often say that the hips are the emotional junk drawers of the body. Our body keeps the score of all of the things that we go through in life, and oftentimes the stories that we tell about the things that we go through in our lives. We're going to walk our hands to the top right corner of the mat, starting to open up the left side body. Claw your fingers into the floor, kind of like a puppy does, to get a nice big stretch in your shoulders. When we're not able to fully process what goes on in our life or the stories that we tell about our life, our body will store that energy until we give ourselves time to fully process it through. And that's what my hope is for our class today. Take another big breath in your child's pose, opening up your side body and clawing the fingers down into the floor. One more big breath in. One more big breath out. Cool, we're gonna walk our hands over to the other side. Same thing, claw the fingers into the floor, draw your hips up and back, and feel the big stretch along the right side body. And as you start to slow things down, allow yourself to be really present with any feelings that you feel as you start to begin this stretching. You're breathing and connecting. Take 2 more rounds of breath. Notice if your mind starts to wander throughout our journey today. If at any point your mind is off on something else, just use your breath as a bookmarker, as a tracer to bring you back to this moment, back to your body, and back to the sensations that we're working through. Good. After your next round of breath, bring your hands back to center. We're going to crawl on up to a tabletop position. We'll spread our fingers nice and wide. Stack your hips right above your knees, and we'll inhale for cow pose. Drop your belly, spread your sit bones, heart forward, shoulders back. Gaze up. And then exhale, cat posture. Push the earth away, chin into your chest. As you start to move through these 2 shapes, you'll notice how you're really undulating through the shoulders and hips too. So not only are we moving our spine, but we're beginning to get into those big joints, helping us to warm our entire torso and core area. Continue to move, breath to movement, a few more rounds. This would be a great time to set up your Ujjayi breath. This is the sealed mouth breath. We're breathing in through the nose, constricting the back of our throat, and slowing the breath, creating some texture for it. Cool, we're gonna come to neutral in our spine after a few rounds of cat and cow, and then we're gonna start to open up the hips. There's a little move that we're gonna all do together. You're gonna take your right toes, you're gonna move them out to the side, then you're gonna turn your right knee out and drop your hips back towards your heels. Reach through the hands, kind of like you did in child's pose. After a few moments, you're gonna shift your weight back forward. You'll turn your right knee in, right toes back in, left toes out, second side. Turn the left knee out and drop your hips back towards your heels. As you drop back, we're exhaling. We'll inhale as we bring ourselves forward. Your left knee will come in, left toes in. And you're on your own doing that back and forth a few times, just getting a little rhythm as you open up your hips. Remember, exhale as you drop back, inhales as you come forward. Switching it side to side. Internal rotation, line the toes back up, right toes out, right knee out, hips back, reach forward, bring the body forward, right knee in, right toes in, left toes out, left knee out, hips drop back, bring it forward, left knee in, right toes in. Let's do one more time on each side. Toes out, external rotation, drop the hips, Bring it forward, right knee in, right toes in, left toes out, left knee out, drop the hips back. Last time, last side, bring it forward, knee in, toes in. Good. Next, we'll tuck our toes and find our way into a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll take about 8 to 10 rounds of breath in this shape, getting cozy. I encourage you to pedal through the legs. Notice when you pedal the legs, how that shifts you through your hips, starting to warm and open up those big joints of your body. Good, spread the fingers and toes a little bit wider, and then start to find yourself in a still downward facing dog. Reconnect to your Ujjayi breath. Slide your shoulders away from your ears, and take a couple more rounds of breath. Lovely, one more big breath in. One more big breath out. Next, we'll step our feet to the back of the wrist, all the way forward to the top of the mat, into a Malasana frog squat. I'm going to turn it forward so you can follow along from the front. We're going to bend our knees a lot and turn your toes out, drop your booty down. You might notice if your hips are feeling tight here. Fingertips can stay tented on the floor, or you can use a block beneath your hands. If you don't have a block at home, a big book could help, or could also work, or even a water bottle, something to stabilize your body with out in front of you. So we'll start in the squat position. I feel it already in my hips. We'll hold it there for a moment, and then we're gonna lift our tushy and forward fold. Let our head hang, and then drop the hips down. We're gonna do this at least 5 times. So you're gonna lift the hips, lower head, and drop the hips back down. So a lot of mobility work today, opening up the hips as much as we can, releasing any stagnant energy from those areas. I'm gonna do this a few more times. Folding forward, dropping the hips back. Let's do it one more time, folding forward, dropping the hips back. Good. Let's stay here in this Malasana pose. We'll bring our hands to heart center. We're just gonna cruise side to side a couple of times, bringing the weight into one leg and then the other leg. So we'll rock it right, we'll rock it left, back to center. And we'll root down and come all the way up to standing. Reach up, thrust the hips forward, squeeze the butt, and then exhale, bring it back down. We'll do that again. Rock it to the right. We'll rock it to the left. We'll bring it back to center. Root down to stand up. Breathe in, squeeze the butt, and then come all the way back down. Let's do that one more time. To the right, to the left, and then back to center, all the way up to standing. Reach up, squeeze the butt, and then bring yourself back down. From your squat position, we're going to drop your left hand down and bring your right hand high. Reach it up towards the sky. Open up your chest, soft shoulders from your ears. Another big breath in. Good, right hand's gonna come down. Tuck it to the inside of your right leg. Left hand up towards the sky. Open up your chest, keep the booty low. Lift the heart, another big breath in, and then hands down to the earth. Awesome, we'll lift our hips up nice and high into a forward fold. Bend your left knee more than your right knee. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. If your left hand feels really far away from the earth, putting that block, that book, or your water bottle underneath your hand can create a nice meeting point for you. Reach up, breath in, push down through the pinky toe, pull your right hip back, take a big inhale. And then exhale, hands come down to the earth. Bend your right knee a lot. Tented right hand or block beneath the hand. Left hand's gonna float up towards the sky. Gaze up, open up your chest, soft shoulders from your ears. Push down into the left pinky toe, scoop the tummy in, take another big breath. And then both hands down towards the ground. You can set your block off to the side. Heel toe the feet in underneath you. Take a halfway lift when you arrive. Big breath in. In your halfway lift, inner thigh spin back behind you. Crown of your head reaches forward and shoulders drop away from your ears. You can rest your fingertips on your shins, your thighs, but avoid the knees and shoving them back so that you don't hyperextend the knees. On your exhale, we're gonna plant our palms and find our way into a high plank position. In your high plank, we're gonna push the earth away. Keep your armpits ignited and lifted, and you're gonna hover your right toes off the ground. You'll take your right knee in towards your armpit, maybe higher if you can bring it in a little higher, and then send the right leg back behind you, set that down. Same thing on the other side. Float your left toes up and off the ground. Left knee, left armpit, hold it for 3. Hold it 2, left leg back behind you, set it down. And then let's march side to side for 8, 7, exhale every time you bring the knee in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Toes come back, big breath in, exhale, downward facing dog. Hips come high, shoulders traction from your ears. Find your Ujjayi breath. On your next inhale, rise high to your tippy toes. Bend your knees, gaze comes forward. You can step or hop to the top of your mat. When you arrive there, take a halfway lift. Exhale, we'll fold forward. Bend your knees a lot, sit back into those heels, spread the toes out. Utkatasana, chair pose, hands come up by your ears or arms come up by your ears. Soften the shoulders down, knit the ribs together, zip the belly in from lower abs to upper abs. Inhale to prepare, exhale, sit a little bit lower. Let's take one more big breath in, one more big breath out. When you exhale, fly the hands back behind you, palms face the floor, triceps ignite, pinky fingers hug towards the center line of your body. Again, keep the chest lifted. Tadasana is next, root to rise. Stand up really tall, reach up towards the sky. Gaze up, eyes up, soft shoulders. Feel the energy from feet to fingertips. And then exhale, lifted heart back, bend cactus your arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Gaze up, eyes up. Inhale, Tadasana, reach. Exhale, we fold forward. You can either swan dive or you can bring your hands through heart center. That's up to you. Soften the knees on your way so that we give those hamstrings a nice soft landing. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to a high plank position. Once you're in the high plank position, once again, puff up those armpits, push the earth away, make the shoulders drop away from your earlobes. Now you're gonna hover your right toes, firm your right leg. You're gonna bring your right knee to your left elbow across the body this time. Tap it towards the elbow or the knee or the armpit, and then send the right leg back behind you. Set the right leg down. Second side, left leg lifts, left knee, right armpit, pull it across the body, hold it. Left leg back, set it back down, and we march for 8, 7, 6. Exhale every time the knee comes in. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breath in to prepare. Downward facing dog, exhale. Awesome, here we go. Rise to the balls of your feet, bend your knees, look forward, travel to your hands, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Chair pose, inhale, float the hands up, breathe in. Exhale, fly your hands back behind you. Tadasana, inhale, stand up tall. Lifted heart back, bend, exhale. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, fold forward, come all the way down. Halfway lift, inhale. Plant the palms, step back to a high plank position. This time we're gonna turn our toes out. Heels are coming to touch. You're gonna bend your knees a lot and sit your butt back towards your heels. Reach the hands forward, kind of like your child's pose, arms. And then you're gonna shoot your body forward, straighten your legs and bring the heart forward towards the top of your mat. And then exhale, hips back towards your heels. Let's do that at least 5 more times. For 5, and 4, last 3, good, last 2, keep it up, last 1, and downward facing dog. Rise high to the tippy toes, bend the knees, travel to your hands, top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale, fold forward, exhale. Chair pose, inhale, hands float up. Exhale, we'll fly our hands back behind you. Inhale, let's add on. Bring your left leg high for a one-legged Tadasana. Flex back on your toes. Again, zip the belly in from lower abs to upper abs and lift your quad up and off your kneecap. Heart stays lifted and present. Fingers reach up towards the sky. And then exhale, figure four. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Bring your hands to heart center. Wrap the shoulders back. Lift the heart up a lot. Sit a little bit lower. 2 more rounds of breath. So we're warming the standing leg's hip. At the same time, we're stretching the other leg and opening up the hip on the left side. Sit a little bit lower. Notice my toes flex back to protect my ankle and knee from the big hip stretch that's happening here. Inhale, one-legged Tadasana, stand up tall. Woo. Exhale, step back, low flying crescent. We'll step our left toes really far back behind us. Palms face the floor, traction shoulders from your ears. Sit a little lower in that front knee, but keep your tummy lifted and up and off that thigh. Next is going to be an inhale for crescent lunge. Anjaneyasana, arms float up, big breath in. Soften the shoulders down, zip lower abs to upper abs, and just a couple of times we're going to lower our back knee down and up, down and up, down and up, and down and up. Good. We'll hold it at the top in crescent lunge. Exhale, fly your hands back behind you, palms face the floor. Take a big breath in. Inhale, crescent lunge, hands come back up. Exhale, low twisted crescent. Your left hand's gonna come down, right hand's gonna lift up towards the sky. Gaze up past the fingertips, soften the shoulders down away from your ears. Feel the big stretch on the outside of the right hip. Keep your left hip lifted, left pinky toes are active, press them down into the earth. Inhale to prepare, exhale to horizon lunge. You're gonna pivot on the front heel and the ball of your back foot and bring the toes and knees towards the side of your mat. You're gonna drop your left hip down and reach back towards the back of your mat. Open up your chest, keep the heart high, reach back, take a breath in, hold for your exhale. On your next inhale, rise back up to a low twisted crescent. And then exhale, hands down, Prasarita, quarter turn into a wide-legged forward fold. Let your chest fall down towards your thighs. This first round, we're gonna bend our knees a lot and grab a hold of our ankles. We're gonna sit our hips low and press your forearms back into your shins, kind of like you're gonna open up those inner thighs. This is called bear pose. Nice long back, tummy zipped in. And this, we're gonna take some movement through bear, kind of like we did in our forward fold early on in class. So you're gonna lift your hips and fold, and then lower your hips down. Let's do that 2 more times. Lift it up, fold, lower your hips. 1 more time, lift it up, fold, and lower your hips. Good. Palms down to the earth, hips come high, big forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Star pose, inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach up, get big, take up lots of space. Big breath in, and then exhale, horse pose, hands come to heart, palms pressed together, shoulders wrap back. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, hands down to the insides of your knees. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist forward. Do that again. Inhale, breath. Exhale, twist. Inhale back to center, to the back of your mat this time. Press into your right inner thigh. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. 1 more time, same thing. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. Cool back to center. Inhale, star pose. Breathe in, reach up. And exhale, warrior 2. Bend your front leg a lot. So I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see the warrior 2 posture. In warrior 2, both heels are pretty much lined up, or you can be lined up with your back arch. Even though the legs are separate, you're going to hug your heels together to create activation beneath the legs. From heart center, we're reaching out through the hands. Soft shoulders, breathe in to prepare. Inhale, reverse warrior. Right hand comes high, gaze comes up. Open up your right side body. 2 or 3 rounds of breath. Let every breath teach you something about where your body's at, your mind, or even the energy that's coursing through you. Where is that today? Another big breath in. And then exhale, extended side angle. Right hand down, left hand up
tip it over. Plug your right hip in underneath you. Start to feel that right thigh begin to warm up. Feel that heat start to build. Hug shoulders in, open the chest. Inhale, reverse triangle. Front leg straightens out, right hand comes up, gaze up, eyes up. Again, when the hand comes up, oftentimes our shoulders come along too. We're gonna drop the shoulders down, we're gonna open up the side of our body and let the spine pull up through the middle. Even from the legs, you can scissor the legs in and pull that same energy up towards the sky. Big inhale, and then exhale, bend the front knee, swim your hands down, low lunge towards the right leg. So this is towards back to the top of your mat. From here, standing splits. We'll launch from the left leg and float your left leg up towards the sky. If your fingers feel far from the earth, this is a great place to place the block. Your block has a medium side, a low side, and a high side. So you can choose whatever side works best for you. As you gaze back at your left toes, if they point anywhere but down, that's an indicator that your hip's pointing in a different direction than square towards the earth. So you'll want to turn your toes down to ensure that your hips are also square. Now, Shiva squat. Left knee comes to your right knee. You're going to curtsy or bend your standing leg a ton. Draw your left knee in a lot. Again, tummy zips in. Feel that one-legged squat. And then open up through both legs. Straighten both of them out. Push through both heels. Exhale, bring it in. Nice little crunch through the legs. And then extend. Let's do that one more time. Bring it down. And extend it out. This time, instead of bending, we're going to fold through those legs, come into a big forward fold, toes touching top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. I'm going to turn it back around so I'm at the top of the mat. We're going to take that from that fold forward. We'll bend our knees a lot and inhale to chair pose. Hands float up towards the sky. On your exhale, we're going to fly our hands back behind us, starting on the second side. Inhale, right leg lifts this time into a one-legged Tadasana. Notice the flex back on the toes. Lift the quad up and off the kneecap. Shoulders are soft as we go tall through the crown. Figure four, cross your right ankle over your left knee. Hands come to heart center. Again, we're stretching the lifted legs hip. We're strengthening and warming the standing legs hip. Tummy zips in. Feel activation in pelvic floor as you sit back behind you even more. Shoulders roll back. One-legged Tadasana is next. We're going to stand up really tall, reach up, breathe in, and then we'll exhale, step it back into a low flying crescent. Palms face the ground, feet are about hip distance apart. We're trying to get as many parts of our left foot down onto the earth and as much of our ball of our right foot down onto the earth. Pinky fingers hug in, shoulders soft away from the ears. Crescent lunges next, Anjaneyasana. We're going to float our hands up and have our arms frame our ears. With the hips square, back leg starting to straighten, nice deep bend in the front knee. We're just going to take a few little dips down with the knee. Up and down, up and down. Let's do a couple more. Go pretty slow, no rush. Good. And we'll meet in our crescent lunge. Breathe in, exhale, fly the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, low twisted crescent. So your right hand's gonna come to the earth, left hand high up towards the sky. We're gazing up past our left fingertips. Lift up through your right hip, open up your chest. Inhale to prepare. Next is horizon lunge. We're gonna wanna turn our toes with our knees as we do this move. So your front toes are turning towards the side, back toes are turning towards the side. You're gonna square those hips to the long edge of your mat. Drop your bottom hip down, reach back through your left hand. Notice the micro bend in my right elbow to protect my joint there. One round of breath when you arrive. And then inhale, bring it back up into a low twisted crescent. We'll exhale into Prasarita, quarter turn into that big wide leg. Good, so our toes are turning towards the long end of our mat. We're gonna take a nice big forward fold. And in this first round, we're moving into Skandasana. So you're gonna drop your hips down, left toes turn up, heart lifts up towards the sky, hands come to heart center. If it feels like too much to balance with your hands at heart center, keep your fingertips on the mat, no big deal here. Just allow yourself to do what feels good so that you are challenging yourself and pushing yourself, but that you're still in that safe spot with your nervous system. We never want to feel like we are panicking, because then the muscles start to clench up and the connective tissue start to clench up. Then we're going to shift our hips over to the other side. Skandasana to your left leg. Hands can come to heart center, or fingertips can remain on the mat. Breathe in a round or two of breath. Then challenge yourself, try it out. See if you can scoot from side to side. Remember, there's lots of different ways this posture can look. You can keep your hips high if that feels best for you. If it's feeling good to come all the way down, continue to come all the way down. Make sure you're balanced on both sides. We'll come back to center, hands meet the earth, wide-legged halfway lift. And then we exhale, fold forward. Star pose is next. Inhale, reach up, big breath in. And exhale, horse pose. Inhale, star, reach up, breath in. And we're coming into warrior two towards our left leg. I'm going to turn it around. Into our warrior two, like I did on the other side. Back leg is strong and straight. Front knee's bent a lot. We're trying to get this thigh parallel to the earth one day. Even though the legs are separate, we're hugging our heels together. From our heart center, we're reaching out through the fingertips a lot. Soft shoulders, gaze over the left hand. Inhale, reverse warrior. Left hand comes high, gaze comes up. Soften the shoulders, soften the face. Breathe a couple rounds of breath. Allow yourself to explore what's alive for you in this posture today. Where's your mind? Where's your energy? Where are your thoughts? Another breath in, extended side angle. Left hand comes down, right hand comes high. Gaze past your right fingertips. Keep breathing. Great time to return to the Ujjayi breath. Awesome. After your third round of breath, we reverse into reverse triangle. Two straight, strong legs, gaze up, eyes up. Hug the heels together, even though the legs are separate. Lift the quads up and off the kneecap. Take another breath in. Exhale, swim your hands down. Frame your left foot. Pivot on the ball of your right foot. Standing splits is next. So you're actually going to launch from these toes. Push yourself all the way up into standing on your left leg. You can grab the block and place it underneath the hands if the hands feel far from the earth. Turn the toes of your back foot down. That's how we know we're square. Nice, take a big breath in. We'll take 3 curtsy lunges. Right knee comes to the left knee. Bring yourself down, standing leg. It's like a one-legged squat in your left leg. Now straighten 2 legs. Push out through those heels. 2 more times, bring it in. And extend. 1 more time, bring it in. And extend. Good, this time, toes touching, top of the mat. Take a halfway lift, inhale. And we'll exhale, plant palms. To wrap it up, we'll step back. And this is our first chaturanga of class, or high to low push-up. Oftentimes in a vinyasa class or a flow class, you'll see quite a few of these. So it's unique to have just one showing up here at the beginning of our sun salutation beat. You can take this from your toes, from your knees, or you can come all the way down onto your belly. We're going to lower down halfway or all the way. We'll take up dog or cobra. Shoulders roll back, tops of the feet come to the floor. Push the skull back, press the heart forward, squeeze your glutes. And exhale, downward facing dog. Engage your belly, flow it back. Okay, we're going to take it now, breath to movement, speeding up that flow just a bit. We'll rise to the balls of your feet. Bend your knees, look forward, travel to your hands, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, bend your knees. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fly your hands. Left leg lifts, one-legged Tadasana. Exhale, figure 4, cross it over, hands come to heart. Inhale, one-legged Tadasana. Exhale, step back, low flying crescent. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, low twisted crescent. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, horizon lunge, turn it around. Inhale, back up into a low twisted crescent. Exhale, Prasarita, we'll fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeper. Star pose, inhale. Horse pose, exhale. Star, inhale. To your left leg, warrior two, exhale. Reverse warrior, inhale. Extended side angle, exhale. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, Shiva squat. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, chair pose, inhale. Exhale, fly your hands back behind you. Inhale, right leg lifts, one-legged Tadasana. Exhale, figure four, hands come to heart. Inhale, one-legged Tadasana. Exhale, step back, low flying crescent. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, low twisted crescent. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, horizon lunge. Inhale, bring it back up to low twisted crescent. Exhale, Prasarita, fold forward. Inhale, standing, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse triangle. And exhale, low lunge, top of the mat. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, Shiva squat. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back, your second high-low push-up or chaturanga of class. Lower down halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Rise high to the balls of your feet, bend your knees, travel to your hands. I'm going to turn it back forward, and we're going to take it from here. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold forward, exhale, chair pose, inhale, hands come up, breathe in. Exhale, fly your hands back behind you. Let's do that again. Inhale, hands come up for a chair pose. Let's bring your hands to heart center, palms pressed together. Identify your left elbow. Left elbow is going to come to the outside of your right knee. Palms press in, shoulders soften away from your ears. Breathe in, zip the tummy in, soften the shoulders down, sit your hips down. You can stay here in this revolve chair pose, or you could lower the hips down, bring your fingertips to the floor, and come into a side crow. In side crow, you're going to lift your hips up a lot. You'll set your femur bone, this long bone, from your hips to your knee on top of your elbows. You can lower your head down. Keep lowering it, kind of like a teeter-totter till your toes start to get light. You can play here with the feet stacked, or you can split the legs. Go to an edge that makes sense for you and breathe. Good, we'll bring our toes back in, feet come back down, and we'll come into chair pose once again. You can always pause in a forward fold before meeting me in chair. Good, we'll do the other side. Hands come to heart center, palms pressed together. Identify your right elbow. Right elbow is going to come to the outside of your left knee. Hook the elbow on the knee a lot. Lengthen through the side bodies. Every inhale, find more space from tailbone to crown. Every exhale, twist a little deeper. Let's do that a couple more times. It's lovely to stay in this layer if you'd like. Option one stays right here. Option two, you can play with side crow. And you can bring your hands down towards the mat. Get this long bone up and over your elbows. You're looking for a skin lock when you do arm balances often. And what that means is you're looking for the place where friction catches between the skin of the leg and the skin of the backs of your arms. So once you find that kind of lock there, you'll start to play with gravity, letting the head lower and bringing the legs up. You can stay here with the knees and ankles stacked, or you can split the legs and play a little bit from your side crow. Awesome. After a few rounds of breath, we'll bring our bodies back, lower our hips down, And let's meet in chair pose. And exhale, fly our hands back behind us. All right, adding on now. Left leg's gonna lift into a one-legged Tadasana. Exhale, we'll figure four. Cross the left leg over your right leg. Bring your hands to heart center. Shoulders roll back. So I mentioned our peak posture was gonna be a flying pigeon pose, and we're gonna start to head into that next. You can choose to take any layer, any option that makes sense for you. So option one, you're right here, happy as can be. Option two, maybe your forearms come down to your shins. Continue to keep the chest lifted and stay here and breathe. Next option is to bring your hands to the standing legs, ankles or shin. Your triceps are gonna push into the shin as your crown of your head reaches forward. Next option is to bring your hands all the way down to the mat. So fingertips come to the earth. You're gonna hook the left toes around the back of your right tricep. You'll bring your weight forward into the hands and balance the shin on the back of your on the back of your triceps, both hands. And then you're gonna extend the back leg back behind you. Breathing, squeezing, holding for 3, holding 2, right leg comes in. You can also keep the leg tucked in when you do that. No need to send it out. You'll get plenty of arm work with just the leg tucked in. Let's come on back up to a one-legged Tadasana. Stand up tall, breathe in, and we'll slowly head into an airplane pose. Left leg back behind you, palms face the ground, chest stays lifted. You can stay here or hands can come to heart center. You can stay here or move into a warrior 3, fingers forward, toes back. Stay for 3, stay 2, and standing splits. Hands come down to the earth, take a big breath in, and step it back into a low lunge. So left foot steps back, right foot steps forward. We're gonna bring the right arm back up, breathe in, and exhale, horizon lunge. Bring yourself back, pivot, and reach back. Inhale, back up to a low twisted crescent. From your low twisted crescent, we're gonna take some low lunge push-ups. So you're just gonna bend your left arm a lot, lower your chest down, bring it up, lower it down, bring it up. You could take 3, 5, 10 of these, depending on what feels best to you. Couple more. Awesome. And we will plant our feet, stand up into an open, twisted crescent. Reach through the fingers, left pinky toes, planting down into the earth. Take a big breath. Left hand exalts up for exalted warrior. So eyes up, gaze up, right hand rests on the back of your left thigh. Scissor the legs together, feel this big stretch in the front of the left leg. Last big breath in. And then revolve crescent lunge. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Palms pressed together, pivot. At this point, your hips and thighs are pretty tuckered out. If you want to drop the back knee down, that's a great move to focus more on the twist and less on the balancing of your legs. Remember, we're trying to stay in that sweet spot in our practice where we're challenging ourselves, but not stressing our nervous system beyond a comfortable place. There's enough things in life that can stress us out, so we want to find a sweet spot in our practice to learn to work our edge, to get stronger and more connected to our body without overdoing it or hurting ourselves. One more breath in. Release the hands down. We'll turn it into Prasarita all the way around. From here, wide-legged halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, horse pose. Inhale, star. Warrior 2, exhale. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. If you play with birds of paradise, this would be another place you could add in a peak posture today. You could move into a half bind if you're into that. You can move into a full bind, bringing your hands to meet beneath the legs. If you're headed into birds of paradise, keep the bind in the upper body. Hop your left foot in, stand on your left foot, and slowly bring your right leg up towards the sky. This is a great place to stay. Lots of hip opening happening here. You can also extend the leg up and go for full birds of paradise. Do what feels best for you. Take a couple of rounds of breath at your edge, and we'll slowly, after taking those couple rounds of breath, back on out of it. Foot comes down, leg comes back, release hands, and we all meet in reverse triangle. 2 straight strong legs, gaze up, eyes up, heart up. From here, from your reverse triangle, you're gonna come into triangle pose. Right hand comes down, left hand comes high. Reach through the fingers, open up the chest. Great place to stay, light fingers on the front shin. You can also take a block with you here and move into an Ardha Chandrasana or half moon shape. In Ardha, we want to have our body nice and flat. Left hip is stacked on top of the right hip. We're reaching through both fingers. When it feels comfortable, your gaze comes up towards the sky. Take another big breath in and step your left foot back behind you. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge, top of the mat. Inhale, standing splits, launch onto your right leg, left leg floats up. Exhale, you can continue with Shiva squats, taking a couple more. Or if you have a handstand in your practice, you can always plant your palms and play with popping up on your hands a few times. Just enjoy that little hop, getting light, maybe lighter each time. And after about 5 hops, we're gonna bring our toes to touch at the top of our mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. So we're back at the beginning of our practice of the second side of this sequence. I'm gonna turn forward so I can do it facing you. We'll take a halfway lift and we'll exhale, fold a little deeper into this. Chair pose, inhale, hands come up, breath in. Exhale, fly the hands back behind you. Identify the right leg, it's coming up for a one-legged Tadasana, breathe in. Exhale, figure 4, cross your right leg over your left leg, hands come to heart center, palms press in. Option 1, you stay right here. Option 2, forearms to the shin. Option 3, hands come down to your ankles. Option 4, plant the palms down, hook your left toes around your left tricep. That's your right toes on your left tricep. Palms come down to the earth, gaze comes forward, rest the shins on the back of the tricep, engage your pelvic floor to lift. Maybe the left toes get light. Maybe you send them back behind you, breathe as you do. Flying pigeon, 3 rounds of breath at your edge. Last 2. And 1, slowly bring it back in. Toes come down. Back into a one-legged Tadasana, stand up, breathe in. And airplane pose. Send your right leg back, heart comes forward, reach back through the fingers. 2 more rounds of breath. Good, hands are gonna come to heart center, palms press in. Warrior 3 as an option, couple rounds of breath in your warrior 3. Keep the reach from the fingertips to the toes. Another big inhale, hands down to the earth, standing splits. Turn the toes down, breathe in. Step your right foot back into a low twisted crescent. Right hand stays, left hand reaches up. Breathe in to prepare. And then exhale, horizon lunge. Left arm reaches back, hips shift to the side. Last time in this horizon lunge. And then bring it back into a low twisted crescent. Start to firm your legs. We're coming up to standing in this crescent lunge position. Inhale, float the hands back up. Square hips, energy pushing back through that leg. Hands reach from heart center, out. Exalted warrior, right hand comes high, left hand to your right thigh. Gaze up, eyes up, breathe. 2 more rounds of breath. Last big breath in. In revolve crescent lunge, right elbow to the outside of your left knee, hands come to heart center, palms press together. Soften the shoulders from your ears. We've done a lot on that left leg. If it feels better to drop the knee down and to focus on the twist, less on the balancing, you do you. Honor your body. Last inhale. Last exhale. Hands release down to the earth. Your right hand's gonna stay. Left hand's gonna reach up. We're gonna take those lunge push-ups next. So you're gonna bend through the arm and lift up. Do that 3, maybe 5 times. Do the amount that you did on the other side so you stay nice and balanced and even, unless you're recovering from an injury on one side or the other, and you might add a few extra layers to the side that's a little tired or weak from the injury. Good, one more big breath in, and then hands come down, prasarita. So what I mean by that is if a certain part of your body gets weak from being injured or immobile for a while, you might have to spend some extra time building that side of your body up. From our wide-legged forward fold, we're gonna inhale, lift our chest. Exhale, fold forward. Star pose is next. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, horse pose, hands to heart. Inhale, star. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. So another peak option for you to try. Lots of fun things to play with today in our practice. We had side crow, we had flying pigeon. The other one that you can try today is your birds of paradise. Feel free to stay here if this is what's best for you in your practice today. If you want more, you can take a half bind. You can go with the full bind. Or you can start to play with stepping your back foot in to prepare for birds of paradise, keeping a nice grip on those hands underneath the thigh. Engage your belly and come up to standing. Once you're here in standing, you're gonna float the left leg up as the final option. Go to your edge for 3, 2, and slowly begin the dismount. Release the hands. I'm gonna move the block forward because I know where we're headed. We're gonna take a reverse triangle, 2 straight strong legs. Gaze up, eyes up, heels hugging in to prepare. And then triangle pose, left hand comes down. Resting softly at your shin, maybe even on a block. This is another great option to add in if that works for you. Or Ardha Chandrasana, I'll step it to the side. You can place your hand on the block. Open up your chest. Breathe a few rounds of breath. And we'll step the right leg back. Reverse warrior, inhale. Low lunge, exhale. Standing splits, inhale. This is another option to take some Shiva squats. If Shiva squats are great for you, stay right there. If you'd like to try popping up into handstand, you can plant your palms and practice popping up onto your hands a few times. See how long you can linger up there. Good, after a few of those, we'll forward fold, toes touching, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, palms plant. We step back to a high plank position. Lower down halfway or all the way. Up dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. All right, our standing work is behind us. We're gonna start to come into some floor work to open our hips. We're gonna take our right leg high. On your inhale, breathe in, float it up. Exhale, right knee comes forward, step it through into a low lunge. We'll take a few active pigeons. So we'll drive our knee forward, and then you're gonna pivot externally, maybe walk the toes over and drop the knee down. You'll bring it up, drive the knee forward, and we'll bring it up and let the knee fall down. Let's do that a couple more times, driving it forward and bringing it down. Last time, bring it forward and bring it down. Great. From here, we'll set up almost a traditional pigeon pose. We're not going to quite lean down yet. I did mention perhaps having a blanket with you, so this would be a time that you could add it in underneath your hip if your hip's pretty far from the floor. Now we're going to continue to do some activities in our pigeon pose. So back toes are untucked, the top of your foot is on the mat. You're going to inhale, either keep your hands where they are, bring your hands to the side of your head, or I like to bring my hands all the way behind my head. We're going to exhale and fold forward over our front leg, and then inhale, bring it up. You can do this 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, maybe even 10 times if you want. You'll inhale, bring it up, and exhale, bring it down. Let's do one more together. Inhale, bring it up, and exhale, we'll come into a sleeping pigeon. So lots of opportunity to fatigue the hips today. It'll feel really nice to settle into pigeon pose. We'll be here for about a minute, breathing and relaxing. Letting any tension we're still holding on to in those hips, let it start to slide down into the earth and away from the body. Letting ourselves slow down mentally and physically so we can really touch the big sensations that we store in those hips, the big feelings that we store in the hips. Let yourself breathe slowly. You could even try reaching the hands out in front of you. It might feel good to put a blanket or pillow underneath your chest to really feel supported in these last few moments in your pigeon pose. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath. We'll walk our hands back towards our body on our 3rd round of breath. You'll tuck your back toes and find your way into a downward facing dog. You can pedal out the legs. Once again, kind of like we did early in class. If it feels good to instead shake the leg out, you can do that. We'll be in a downward facing dog to prepare for our 2nd side. Inhale, float the left leg high. Exhale, step the leg through into a low lunge position. We're going to start with those active pigeon exercises. You're going to drive the knee forward, and then you'll turn the leg out and drop the knee down. Let's do that 3 to 5 times on this leg. Finding a lot of mobility in our hips, knees, and ankles. This can help to minimize injury. It can help to create fluidity in our body. It can help us to create fluidity in our thoughts as well. Just a couple more. Let breath guide movement. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Good. Last time, let's bring it into pigeon pose, and we'll hold one last exercise before we get into sleeping pigeon. I use the blanket underneath my hip. That, of course, is optional. You can keep your fingertips on the ground. You can bring them up to the side of your head, or you can bring your hands behind your head. We're going to lower ourselves down and lift ourselves up. We'll do that a few more times. Lower it down. And lift yourself up. Couple more. Last one together. And we'll release all the way into our sleeping pigeon. Breathe here. Allow yourself to get really heavy. Feel the tension in your body start to drip down into Mother Earth. Relax through the shoulders and the face. Relax through the jaw. We'll be here for about a minute. You may find that in these longer holds in Pigeon, especially after all the work that we did, that emotion may come up. Allow yourself to touch that emotion with tenderness. Let this be an opportunity to process any feelings that you haven't been able to process. Any thoughts about the feelings of life that you haven't been able to process. Life is full of ups and downs, and our yoga practice can teach us how to ride the waves of life. Oftentimes, feelings take about 30 seconds to 2 minutes to process through us. But if we don't allow ourselves that time to process and to digest those feelings, they often get stored in the physical body, which is why we've done all this hip opening today, to help us to release. Take your last round of breath. Once you complete that round of breath, we're going to walk our hands back. We'll move our blanket out from underneath us if we've had it there. We'll find our way into a downward facing dog. You can pedal the legs. You could shake the leg if that feels good. And we will step through next to a seated position. I'm going to bring my block along with me. We're coming all the way down onto our backs. Once we're on our backs, we'll walk our feet in nice and close. We're going to press our feet down and lift your hips up for supported bridge. In supported bridge, you can have your block on the lowest side, the medium side, or you can try lifting your hips up to the high side. I like the medium side. We're not going to put the block at the meaty part of our booty or in the curve of our spine. It's at that base of our spine. What this does is it helps to release the psoas muscle, which cruises from the lower spine through our hips and our hip girdle to the thighs. You can keep the knees bent if this feels like it's enough for you. You could walk the legs out if that feels like it feels good. You can try that. You could bring your hands over your head, or you could bring one leg in at a time, interlacing your hands on the shin. Pull back through your right knee. Let your left leg slide out and away from you. Push your skull back down into the earth. Feel a big opening in front of your left leg. 2 more rounds of breath. Good. After your second round of breath, we'll switch the legs if you have one leg in. Switch the other one in. You can also just stay if you decided to keep the legs bent, or 2 straight legs. Pull your left knee in and back if you're choosing to pull one leg in. Press your skull back down into the earth and breathe. Feel this big opening in the front of your right leg. Good, about 30 seconds to a minute in this shape. Let's take our last couple rounds of breath before we move on. Good. We're going to release our left leg out. We're going to walk both legs in, press the feet down, lift your hips up, slide the block out from underneath you. And you can move the block out of your way. From here, we've got one last exercise before we really start to wind things down. This is a technique used to help to release tension from our bodies.
This technique is used by firefighters, first responders, and soldiers after they've been in war to help them release traumatic situations that they've been through. So what we'll do is we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. Our knees are going to be open wide, almost in a butterfly position. Then your hands are going to come to the side of your body, and you're just going to lift your hips up towards the sky. You'll squeeze your butt and thrust the hips up, and hold it here for a couple of moments. When you're ready for the next layer, what you'll do is you're going to simply bring your knees in about 1/4 of an inch at a time, about 1 centimeter or so at a time. And after a few moments, you may find that your hips start to sway a little bit. There might be a little bit of a bounce, some release in those inner thighs. We're looking for that little bit of the quiver or the flapping of the legs. You'll continue to move the legs in about, like I said, 1 centimeter to 1/4 of an inch at a time. Allowing that gentle sway, that natural sway, or perhaps even it becomes a really big movement in your body. Just allowing it to naturally move through you. If at any point it feels like it's too much or overwhelming, you can simply drop your hips and let your knees fall wide and just allow yourself to relax. If you're okay, you continue to move the legs in until you feel like you've got them pretty far in, and then you could do the same thing moving your legs outward. Keep the hips lifted and slowly bring the legs out about 1/4 of an inch at a time. And then after about 1 minute to 5 minutes of playing with that exercise, we're going to allow our hips to fall to the floor. We'll bring one hand to our tummy and one hand to our heart. Let the knees fall wide. Just allow yourself to rest for a few moments. After a few moments, we'll bring our feet at least hip distance apart, maybe even all the way out to the edge of our mat. We'll cactus our arms to the side of our body, and we'll drop both legs to the left, gaze to the right. Option 1, you can stay right here. Option 2, you'll take the bottom foot and set it on top of your top knee. Allow yourself a few moments to breathe and to twist your spine. Starting to move from the moving meditation, the asana in class, into the stillness, into the yoga, the bringing together of the body, mind, and the divine life force coursing through us. Even though all of the asana that we take is an opportunity to bring it all together, the stillness at the end of class is a great chance for us to really deeply connect without the distraction of movement to bring us back to our body. Release the top leg, bring your legs back to center, drop both knees to the right, gaze to the left, take your right leg and bring it up and over your left knee if you did on the other side. Gaze in the opposite direction, and we'll be here for about 30 seconds to a minute. Nice long deep breaths. For the next few rounds of breath, you'll uncross the top leg, bring your legs back to center, And slowly release into final Shavasana. Palms fall to the side of your body, toes drop outward. Allow yourself to relax. Let any final amounts of tension that's being stored in the physical body drip down into the earth beneath you. Start to lose sensation of where the body ends and the rest of the room begins. Melt yourself down. During our classes, I leave us about 3 to 5 minutes in our Shavasana. If you'd like to stay in your Shavasana longer, this is a great time to pause the video. Allow yourself to stay in your Shavasana, enjoying your time in this deep meditation. So again, if you'd like to stay longer, stay longer. If you're ready to move your energy back into the flow of the day, you can begin to deepen your breath. You can begin to invite subtle movements into your hands and into your feet. Maybe your wrists and your ankles. I like to take a big good morning stretch next. You can reach your hands up and over your head. Maybe you point your toes and arch your spine. Finally, we'll roll to our favorite side where we'll stack our shoulders and our hips in a fetal position for a few moments, allowing yourself to ground, to feel cradled by Mother Earth, supported and ready to take on the day. After a few moments in your fetal position, you can consciously leave behind what no longer serves you as you rise up to a comfortable seated position. We'll meet in seated to wrap our class up traditionally. Once you're there, we'll bring our hands to heart center. Eyes can flutter closed, or you can gaze down softly at your fingertips. It's my belief that the practice of yoga is the bringing together of our body, the consciousness of our mind, and the energy or divine light coursing through us. It's my belief that the energy inside of us courses through everything else in the universe and beyond, connecting us to one another through this energetic field. It's my belief that when we do our work to lift our own vibrations, because of this connection, we lift the vibration of the collective. I'd like to thank you for doing your work today. Thank you for trusting me on your journey. Together, we'll lift our thumbs to our forehead, our center of intuition, our third eye. And once again, we acknowledge this divine connection by bowing to the divine light in us all and saying the word namaste. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed your class.